Talk 17. The Monk with the Perm. A long time ago, a caravan set out across a vast and dangerous wilderness in search of a hidden treasure said to surpass all wealth. The journey was harsh. The road stretched endlessly. Bandits and exhaustion threatened their resolve. After many days, the travelers grew discouraged. This treasure is a rumor, some said. Let us turn back before we perish. Their guide, wise and compassionate, saw their fatigue. Ahead, through his skill, he caused a magnificent city to appear, complete with gates, towers, cool water, and safe lodging. Rest here, he told them, for you have come far. Relieved, the travellers entered, regained their strength, and regained hope. When they were ready to continue, the guide revealed the truth. The city had never been real. It was conjured up magically to save them from despair and giving up. The true treasure still lies ahead, he said. And with steadier hearts, uplifted, they walked on. So what is wealth without permanence? What is legacy without continuity? If identity is memory, memory plus projection, then security cannot be fixed. Perhaps purpose lies not in securing selfhood, but in acting ethically within an impermanent life flow. A long-bearded Rinpoche once delivered a stirring teaching on impermanence. He spoke of change, loss, letting go. In the front row, an elderly grandmother wept throughout. The Rinpoche, he felt quietly pleased. He thought, the Dharma, it's touched her deeply. After the talk, he approached her gently. Grandmother, have my words moved you so profoundly? Through tears, she replied, Rinpoche, when I see your long beard, I remember my dead goat. The session ended quickly. What is the illusion of permanence? In life, often we find ourselves ensnared in the fallacy of permanence, the delusion that the current circumstances that envelop us are the constants of our existence. In the quiet grove at Savatthi, Rādha leaned forward and asked a simple question. They speak of a being. What makes a being? The Buddha did not answer with philosophy. He answered with a shift in vision. Rādha, he said, when someone clings to the body, to feelings, to perceptions, to plans, to consciousnesses itself, then we speak of a being. Where there is clinging, there is the sense of someone who is. Then he painted a scene. Picture children on a beach, building sand castles. As long as they love those sand castles, they guard them, shape them, call them mine. But when interest fades, they crush them with their hands and feet and walk away laughing. So too, he said gently, learn to loosen the grip. When craving ends, the burden of being ends with it. Begin with gratitude journaling. Each morning or evening, write 3 things you appreciate. Income that supports you, skills developing, people who help. Practice mindset shifting. When comparison thoughts or I'm an imposter thoughts arise, consciously reframe them as growth signals, signs of new growth. Use time management tools, such as short focused work intervals and clear task priorities to reduce overwhelm. Finally, create a simple vision board, not fantasy, but direction, reminding you of contribution, service, and steady progress, rather than fears. Ethical reflection asks whether my pursuit of security, my pursuit of status, my pursuit of accreditation aligns with integrity. Am I building legacy through service? Or am I building it through ego? Social reflection notices how comparison, fear of irrelevance, and imposter feelings shape relationships, subtly influencing how I relate, how I compete, how I collaborate, and whether I belong. We often repeat our own funny stories, don't we? As Groucho Marx said, if you've heard this story before, don't stop me, because I'd like to hear it again. Even change changes until it doesn't anymore. I saw a chameleon that couldn't change its colors anymore. It was suffering from reptile dysfunction. At 47, Helena Marovich left a prestigious compliance role in a Brisbane high-rise, walking away from bonuses and a title that impressed strangers, but it drained her. There wasn't any scandal, only the sense that stability had tightened into suffocation. She rented a small cottage on Tasmania's coast and chose simplicity. Afternoons were spent learning woodworking from a retired boat builder, shaping reclaimed timber. 18 months later, Helena opened a modest workshop, crafting long, communal tables. Her income shrank, but her contentment grew. The resume mattered less than the steadiness of her breath. Regret taught me when I saw how chasing security and status shaped my choices. Vision grows clearer when your legacy is all about your contribution to people's well-being, not about applause. Self-compassion softens our comparison with others, and self-compassion calms our fears of feeling like an imposter, an outsider. Change is everywhere. Many things have to be changed regularly. Politicians, for example. Politicians should be changed as frequently as diapers, and often for the same reason, said Mark Twain. Communities change. My grandfather was always saying that in the old days, people could leave their back doors open, which is probably why his submarine sank. A man is stranded months on a desert island. Suddenly, a beautiful woman walks out of the ocean wearing a wetsuit, saying, "You've been here a long time. I bet you'd like something to eat." He says, "Yeah." So she unzips a pocket and she pulls out this beautiful thick sandwich. Then she says, "I bet you'd like a drink." He says, "Yeah." So she unzips another pocket and pulls out a drink flask. She then says, "I bet you'd like to play around," and starts to pull down the main zipper. He says, "Don't tell me you have a set of golf clubs in there as well." Alan Watts said, "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." As the Zen proverb goes, let go or be dragged. I was offered a lovely residency. It had a courtyard. In the walled courtyard was a lovely tree. The tree gave abundant shade. It was all perfect, so zen. It seemed it could last forever. Then my time came to an end. The family owners, they invited another monk, a Zen calligraphy monk, in to stay. I assumed they admired his bold decisiveness. Those one-moment slash strokes of black ink. But while he was staying there, practicing his calligraphy, he found the light not quite right. Just a little too dark. Just not quite the right natural light. If it was just a little more. And in a moment of the bold decisiveness, he took an axe and chopped down the beautiful tree. The keys were returned shortly after. There's a traditional Buddhist teaching, the Five Remembrances, to help us face the reality of life. I am of the nature to grow old. I cannot avoid aging. I am of the nature to get sick. I cannot avoid sickness. I am of the nature to die. I cannot avoid death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are all of the nature to change. There is no escaping being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. Change is never painful. The resistance to change is painful. As the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus said, nothing is permanent except change. Heraclitus reminds us that only constant in life is change. Resisting it leads to struggle, but embracing it brings growth. Accepting impermanence allows us to adapt, evolve, and live with greater peace. A poodle and a Labrador are walking down the street, and the poodle says, "My life is a mess. My owner's mean. My girlfriend's having an affair. I'm just so nervous." The Labrador suggests, "Go see a psychiatrist." "I can't," says the poodle. "I'm not allowed on the couch." Working in England for a sound and events crew at a vast mansion on grounds. I chatted with the gardener. He said the father was self-made, but trouble was brewing. He was a millionaire. The only child, a daughter, had holidayed in Tunisia, drifted to a beach party, and under a romantic moon, well, one thing had led to another. She was pregnant. The young Tunisian was now set to inherit the whole place. I saw him staggering towards me, stoned, and asking only, "Is there any tasty food in those boxes?" Albert Einstein said, "The measure of intelligence is the ability to change." Now ask yourself, am I becoming more flexible? Am I prepared to let go? A man walking along a California beach found an old lamp and rubbed it. Out popped a weary genie. "Fourth time this week," he sighed. "Okay, but you only get one wish. I'm tired." The man thought carefully. "I'm afraid of flying and of getting seasick. Build me a bridge to Hawaii from California, all the way." "Impossible," said the genie. "The Pacific Ocean is too deep. The engineering alone, oh no. Come on, no, try again. The man nodded. Okay. "I've been divorced 4 times. Okay, my wish. I wish I could truly understand women." The genie paused. "The bridge. So do you want 2 lanes or 4? Change and impermanence. Reflecting on these truths is not morbid. Rather, it is a way to stop taking life for granted and to live more fully in the present. Working in Egypt, I befriended Red Sea diving instructors, including an Italian called Mario. Diving, one small mistake and you can drown. One evening I found Mario sitting alone. He invited me to sit. He looked steadily into my eyes and asked, "Are you ready? That is the question. Are you ready?" The words stayed with me as I crossed the desert on a border visa run. When I returned, Mario, it turned out, had died during a night dive. It reminded me of a tale. A man once felt death tap at his shoulder at a market. It said, on the 7th morning. That was it. The man fled day and night, day and night, day and night for 7 nights and mornings. At dawn on the 7th day, far, far away in a forest, he felt another tap on his shoulder. He said, "How did you find me?" Death said, "I don't know. I was told I would meet you here." Every day, take a pause and consider how unpredictable many deaths you knew about were. These people's deaths, did they know? Were they ready? Every day, note that nothing is the same as before. Everything has changed, is changing, will change. Every day, while life has fuel, it will continue to run on and on. Every day, practice letting go. Give away. See how easy or hard it is. Every day, note how much you are clinging, what you are attached to. Reflect, like the weaver's daughter. Where are you coming from? Your past lives. Where? What? With who? Did I live valuably? Where are you going to? Your future rebirth. Did I make merit? Don't you know? Don't you know that you will die? Are you ready? Do you know? Do I know what? Do you know when? Permanent, as all the ladies here will know, it's a hairdo. I actually just wanted to have curly hair. I ordered a perm at my barber's. He shaved all my hair off. I said, "Hey, what's that?" He said, "You're a Buddhist. That's an imperm." At the boss's funeral, death, at the boss's funeral, a disgruntled and bitter employee kneeled next to the coffin and whispered, "Who's thinking outside the box now?" Very strange things. I wanted to narrate some lyrics. In it, a man had a strange premonition. This was written in 1974. Remember, 1974. How long ago was that? Here's the lyrics. There's something solid forming in the air. The wall of death is lowered in Times Square. No one seems to care. They carry on as if nothing was there. The wind is blowing harder now, blowing dust into my eyes. The dust settles on my skin, making a crust. I cannot move. And I'm hovering like a fly, waiting for the windshield on the freeway. Where is real security? With so many shifting sands and unknowns, isn't it wise to found your life in Buddha's timeless wisdom? Isn't it sweet to live close to teachings, Dhamma, leading to peace? Isn't it good to be close to Sangha, virtuous, encouraging, noble, kind, generous? We never know how our funerals will go. what will exactly happen to our remains? Human remains are also impermanent, the remains of the day. Will glass coffins be a success? Remains to be seen. Here is the mechanism. Notice that the mind tries to avoid change. The mind tries to create illusions of non-change. It creates patterns to protect itself and its owner against changes. Daily rituals, arranging items, sequences, surrounding itself with the familiar, predictable, and unchanging. My first temple ran on a strict routine. At 2 p.m., meditators reported in. One by one they entered. Bowed 3 times. I asked, "And how was your practice?" They answered, and Luang Por gave instruction. One day a VIP monk was expected. All the Western yogis were to be lined up outside the vihara steps at noon. The heat was intense. We waited. No one came. Interviews began as usual while the yogis stood. Unknown to me, one woman had fainted and been taken to hospital. She returned about 4 p.m. and entered near the end. I wasn't watching closely. I saw the final bow, head down, and automatically asked, "And how was your practice?" She raised a bruised purple face, 2 black eyes, and a white H-shaped plaster across her probably broken nose. I burst into uncontrollable laughter. It was completely inappropriate. Ashamed, I nearly quit. Luang Por simply said to me, "Extend your mercy." Always expect the unexpected. Take frequent pauses to notice your automatic mind replaying old loops. Deliberately wake up. Examine fatal disasters. Were they expecting that earthquake? They were busy worrying about next year, next day, next shopping list. Take new perspectives. Recall that atoms are mostly empty. See that all the items, places, people we are accompanying ourselves with are all empty, all unsolid, disappearing, not substantial. Take mindful pauses, not just to relax and breathe, but to remind yourself of these truths. All are vanishing illusions. Notice how we expect the expected. Notice how your mind fixes, controls, sets in stone, repeats, loops. Is it something you're aware of? Notice it with compassion more than judgment. And imagine being free of the expected. What is that like? I once tried cutting down smoking by slicing all 20 cigarettes in half. I smoked the filtered halves. When those stained, ash-covered ones were all stubbed, I stared at the clean white halves and thought, what a waste of money those are. As if the first 20 disgusting, ashy ones had been sensible economics. Change is like a flowing river, a river of constant change. We escape by becoming one with the river as it flows to the sea. We can try and freeze the water. We can try and build a private reservoir. We can throw our garbage into the river to take it away from sight. We can build a dam. We can bottle up the water and store millions of bottles in warehouses. We can ignore the stagnation. Or we can learn to attend, float, flow, and dissolve in the sea. For a talk, I once asked AI for a funny quote about change. Mark Twain, it said, "The only constant in life is change, except in a vending machine." After, an American came up and said, "You know, I'm pretty sure they didn't actually have any vending machines when Mark Twain was alive." I thought this was funny, but I did fact check it, and actually I did. In fact, they had vending machines 2,000 years ago. Never mind. Was it 1,000? Change is like a rumbling fire, always moving. Becoming one with the fire, it moves. We try and build a private fire. We throw our garbage into the fire to take it away from sight. We can learn to attend, float, flow, and dissolve in the fire. How does it work? Notice what our behavior has been doing here. There are patterns behind it. It's one of the ways identity builds itself, then protects itself by ordering deliveries of memories to create walls, a fortress, a castle. Look closely. It is made of sand. The answers are within, your intuition, not outside, within your own heart, to transform clinging. Become nothing. Become a one. If you become a one, soon you become a two. Two being divided becomes many. The divided is easily conquered. So go back, become nothing. The illusion of permanence. Meditate to clarify. Identify your defilements, where they are attached and clinging. Practice letting go. All hopes of legacy, of identity, of prestige, all built on a sense of permanence, are illusions too. You can't change change, but you can change your ways. Let go. Let it be. Don't attach to it. Change is like sand in the hand, always moving. Become a one with the sand. It moves. We try and build a private rock. We throw our garbage from the rock and pay to take it away from sight. We can remember that our bones, our teeth will become ash, dissolving in the sand. All misery and frustration is built on attachment to control, to things being unchanging, to dreams of satisfaction. All that misery can be reversed to happiness and contentment through what we expect. Expect people and things to change. Expect that they won't satisfy, can't be controlled. So I'd like to end this talk with wishing you well, my gratitude and appreciation for your kind attention. May many of you attain the peace of nirvana and be free from all avoidable suffering and harm. May you all be peaceful, happy, safe, and well.